It's okay. All right. Welcome back to the newspaper review segment. The Daily Graphic is starting this morning. Fallout from Delta Force attack in court. IGP declares war on vigilante groups. Catholic bishops say action discredits Ghana. That's the story on the front page of the Daily Graphic. Also here, freeze small-scale mining. It is official, Galamsey Ochihene is said to have said that. And then go and say no more, Speaker tells Ayariga. The Ghanaian Times, assemblies mismanaged 53 million cedis common fund, Auditor General reveals, and then police declare war on political vigilantes. That's a story also captured by the Daily Graphic. Daily Guy says NDC begs Rawlings, please come back. And Speaker warns Ayariga against lies. A merry deal is rip-off. Fresh charges for Delta Force. The Daily Guide has those stories. The Daily Statesman, Ghana at war with Chinese economic guerrillas. Professor Marty, his photograph is here, he is said to have said that. The Finder says, woes of Delta Force deepens. IGP says suspects to face additional charges. Also on the Finder, startups to enjoy 1 year tax holiday. Business Development Minister's photograph is here. And then government in 200 million record-breaking fertilizer subsidies. The Daily Heritage, Akufo-Addo may face impeachment, says Victor Smith, and then let Parliament appoint special prosecutor. Former minister tells president. We'll talk deeply about those stories. And then the Business Day says new master plan to fix power crisis. The Punch and MC shot in the eye, that story, and then Mahama betrayed by Emisatha. He says Setekpe was his boss, and Gold Street businesses only 1.5% disabled graduates employed. Those are some of the newspapers, Independent, the BNFT, all of them. My guest to do the talking this morning, Director of Communications of the CPP, is to my extreme left, Kadri Abdul Rauf Isifu. Good morning, and hope you're great.
I'm doing very great.
It's been some time.
Yes,
I hope you're doing well.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for joining us. And then Theophilus Tedechai is a former member of Parliament for the Ablekuma Central Constituency, a member of the NDC. Good morning, too.
Yeah, good morning.
Thanks for your time, too.
Thank you.
Now, let's start with the Daily Graphic this morning. The story, fallout from Delta Force attack on court. IGP declares war on vigilante groups. Catholic bishops are suggesting that this discredits Ghana. We're told that following acts of lawlessness by some members of the Delta Force in Kumasi last Thursday, the IGP has declared war on activities of vigilante groups, mass disorder and disturbances in the country. He said acts of lawlessness by those groups had the propensity to cast a slur on the hard-won image of the country, adding, as a nation, we have come very far in our democratic dispensation and we cannot afford to slip. He was addressing some media men and women in Kumasi last Saturday when he stormed the place. We're told with about some 50 officers to ensure peace. Now let's start here. Honorable Theophilus Tedechai, the IGP's declaration of war on vigilante groups. We had always tried to stop these groups from operating, from being given the room to operate. Is he able to deal with it?
Yeah, thank you very much. Per past experiences that we've had over the years, over the period, it is my wish that the current IGP will really do exactly what he's telling the people of this country today. Simply because the security services, that is the police service, over the years have assured this country of getting away with these groups within the country. And they still exist. A typical example is a land guard system that we have. Today, they still operate. And this is something that the police over the years have waged war against. So the vigilante groups, if the IGP really means his words, you have the land guard system, those of the political parties, and groups that they think are inimical to the growth and stability of this country. Look, one principle upon which citizens vote for a government is the issue of stability. Because if the country is not stable, it affects the economic well-being of the individual. it brings about a lot of hardship within the country. And so therefore, stability is a key governance issue. And that is why not only the IGP, but His Excellency the President must show leadership in this vein. You know, I have always said that, look, politicians, as we are, because of some of the things that we do, we always want protection. And that is why you see some of these politicians going about their duty with some of these bodyguards and so on and so forth. Even today, it's not only the politicians. Even our churches.
The pastors?
Yes.
There are people around them?
Yes, they have bodyguards. So you ask yourself, why should you operate with such people around you? It means you have something to hide, or you have something that you also do with it, which is inimical to the development of the society. And that is why you need that protection.
Is it not for their own, I mean, if I hire a bodyguard, does it mean that I have something to hide? Just to protect myself?
Well, that is my view. Because look, for me, I've been a member of parliament I've been in politics since 1992. I've never employed the services of bodyguards. No. Even in my campaigns, my constituents, they will tell you, I'm always free. I have my conscience clear. You see? But that is what we see today. And for me, this monster that today is hunting this country is as a result of the creation of the MPP in opposition. You quite remember. And sometimes I also hold the media for some of the media practitioners for some of these things that goes on. You quite remember when the MPP recruited some people outside this country to come and offer training for the party. You quite remember. A lot of issues were raised. That look, you are the presidential candidate of a political party. The state provides protection for the candidate. Okay? Why should the party go to the extent of hiring people into the country illegally to perform such an activity? And today, you see what the entire country is facing. These are people who have been trained to handle weapons and so on and so forth. And today, look at the disgrace they are bringing onto the leadership, the MPP as a political party and as a party in governance. It's not only the MPP that is being defamed with this activity. The entire country, our record is being tarnished as a result of these misguided criminals who have been recruited to do the sort of things they are doing. And you have people within the party backing them for the actions that they were taking. You quite remember, I was here when this issue of cash seizures were being done. And I said, look, these things are things that are being done by criminals. And people from the MPP political party leadership were saying that these are people who are protecting the public what? Property. And today, you see what is on our hands now. Now, everybody is afraid.
Are you therefore suggesting that since it seems to have the backing of the NPP, the IGP is unable to deal with it? Is that what you're saying?
Look, for me, that is why I'm saying that we've had some of these things over the years. Okay? We are giving him the benefit of the doubt.
That he can do it.
Let's see some level of action. But you see, our police should be proactive in their activities. They should be proactive. And especially when you see political vandalism occurring, and if you look at their attitude, some of the video footages that we've seen, especially the first attack on the National Security Coordinator, as if the police were there to ensure that they do what they wanted to do in a serene environment, and then they just leave the scene. Even the video footage, you can see even one of these macho men giving thumbs up to the policeman in the vehicle. And he also gave him the right thumb. You see, so it's like we are joking as a nation. But look, the buck stops with the president. I've always said that His Excellency the President, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, should show leadership. That is what the country
members
needs.
of the Delta Force are saying that they feel betrayed by these very leadership you're talking about.
You see, that is why we should all condemn what is happening. Because this is something that they created. They created. And it is not only the MPP, other political parties. But if you create this monster, it will come to haunt you. What do we see in Nigeria? The Boko Haram. Do you know how it started? It is these same political parties who recruited these guys to do the things that they have to do to protect them. And today, look at how well armed the Boko Haram is, terrorizing the entire country. And that is the road that we as a country, we are leading to.
Okay.
And the better we stop this thing, it will be good for all of us as a country.
Let's go to Kumasi. Over the weekend, the IGP was there, and that's where he sounded the wall bell on the members of the Delta Force or all kinds of activities that hinder peace and security. Let's listen to the IGP when he addressed the media in Kumasi before Rauf takes his submission.
Our goal of bringing this phenomenon of vigilantism to an end, we shall employ all legitimate means available to us, including dialogue, enforcement, and enactment of laws. In this direction, we are happy other bodies, institutions, and personalities, including the Ministry of Interior, the Ghana Bar Association, the Peace Council, the media, and civil societies have indicated their readiness to put their shoulders to the wheel. The police service hereby declares a war on the act of vigilantism and all other forms of mass disorder and disturbance. We shall clamp down on it with all the force that we can marshal. All aggrieved persons are therefore advised to resort to the due process to have their grievances addressed, and not to adopt violence to seek redress. The police administration would like to assure the judiciary that it will provide maximum security to ensure their safety at all times. The public is entreated to support the police in this endeavor by volunteering information to enable us deal with the canker once and for all. The police can be reached on MTN and Vodafone short code 18555. or 191 on all networks, and Twitter at GH Police Service or Facebook, GH Police Service.
David Asante appealed to is the Inspector General of Police there talking to the media. Ralph, let me come to you. Now, this is the IGP who declares war and still talks about dialogue. He says we're going to clamp down on them, we have declared war, and still talks about dialoguing. Really, is this how to fight this menace?
Well, first of all, let me start by saying a very good morning to the cherished listeners, particularly the membership of the Convention People's Party and the leadership. Now, I think that since the MPP came into power, there has been some growing levels of insecurity in the country, which is occasioned by the activities of these, so-called Delta forces and then what have you. And I think that it is clearly unfortunate. It appears in this country today that virtually most Ghanaians feel threatened by this group of people. And the question is, we want to know how they came about. And here, I think that we politicians, we all have to, take blame of some sort, because when we want power, there is nothing that we tell the people that we cannot do. Virtually everything we can do. You give them, you give some your people some kinds of ideology. You understand? That would position their psyche in a certain way. Now, eventually, you win power, and the monster that you have created is not only coming to destabilize the peace of the country. It is even destabilizing internal peace within your political party. And I think that this is a clear case where the president has to take a very decisive decision, on the matter. And I want to also state very clearly that it appears that the Delta forces and the other forces, I find them to not only that they are being impatient with their party and government for that matter, they are just making unreasonable demands and requests. For example, they have to bear in mind that so many factors played out before the MPP came to power. So many factors. And so many other people played diverse roles to bring the MPP into power. So, for example, I know of a Malam in Tamale who every Friday he was slaughtering sheep for MPP to come to power. And he will organize young guys and they sit around and recite the Quran every Friday. And then, you know how much it costs to buy sheep every Friday. So those group of people, what are they also going to say? Because they also contributed, at least from the spiritual angle. We are told by Chino Achibi that wrestling is not just a contention of bones and muscles. It includes the seen and the unseen. They also struggled. What are they going to say? That is one. And I also know pastors who were organizing prayer camps and then whatever, all these people. And then we know that politics is who, guess what? Now that victory is achieved, now everybody would expect to get something. But if one group in their request to also get their share of maybe positions and then what have you, they want to hold the whole country to ransom, I think that they have to be called to their shells. I think that that behavior must be condemned. And clearly, from the speech of the IGP, you can see a contradiction. You say that you've declared war on vigilante groups, and now you are saying that you will dialogue with them. I want to believe that when people behave in a way that is inconsistent with the constitution or with the laws of the state, what you can do minimally is to get the position of the law on the matter and apply the law. Simple. It's as simple as ABCD. So me, I want to state very clearly that in this our country, vandalism, lawlessness has no place. It has no place. And then the Delta Force and then there are other groups must be reminded of this. And this is where I want to say that my people have a very nice proverb that most of the time I like to quote. The Gombas have a certain proverb that says that if you have a drum, right? Are you listening to that? If you have a drum that beats itself, one day you'll be sleeping and the drum will beat and wake you up. And now that is what we are seeing clearly. So me, I believe that this matter is something that can be resolved. And it is in the interest of the MPP to resolve the matter. At least there's still time for next. Like they have to make sure that these people are brought under control. Now see the same people.
If you say it is in the interest of the MPP, is the police able to deal with it? Because with this time we're looking, the MPP, the government says it is the job of the police to stop criminals. Now, looking at the police, the IGP has been there and he sounded the warning to these persons and eventually declared war on them. Is the police able to stop them?
I believe that if the party, the MPP, wants the police service to deal with this issue once and for all, it can be done. But under the current status quo, we all know that is there some pretense of some sort. Who appointed the IGP? You don't trust the police service to deal with this? I trust that there has been occasional instances where our police acted professionally. But under the current state, has it happened in our country before? Right, where a group of hoodlums, would go and then even go to the extent of going to the court to go and rescue their colleagues. Has it happened in this country before? Now, I know about a month or so ago, a brother of mine, Mohammed Abdul Salam in Tama, he's a metro manager of health insurance. One day he just wanted to go to his office and then these hoodlums came and took control of the office and asked him not to come. And as we are sitting, as we are speaking, he's still in the house, he's not going to office. What is happening? So we are saying that this act of vandalism, there is always a relationship between the party and the police service. I tell you most solemnly, if the MPP, particularly the president, want this issue to stop once and for all, there is a signal that he will give that they will crash this issue once and for all.
What he told the nation when he addressed Parliament isn't enough?
I fear that that signal. You see that those guys are still even being boosted on daily basis. Their confidence. Yeah. Okay. You see it. So it tells you that it's just a whitewash. Is there something that is there? Quickly, then take a break.
For me, the fact that they don't even show respect to the leadership, His Excellency the President of our nation, for me is a big worry. Because look, this is the leader that we have chosen as a nation. And if this group within its own political party show that gross disrespect to him, for me, that is a big worry.
Let's take a quick break here. We'll come back. We'll stay on this issue because the NDC has condemned the attack. The CPP earlier had warned against these forces, the fact that we didn't seem to be dealing with them well. We'll stay on this issue when we return from the break. Come back and let me quickly introduce the Member of Parliament for the Futu constituency, Honorable Alex and Afenyomak. Alex, good morning.
Good morning, Brian.
Grateful for joining us.
Thank you for having me. And, sorry for my delay.
That's okay. We'll manage. And we'll continue the conversation. I guess you were listening to some of the points your colleague panelists were making. But the issue is the IGP's declaration of war on the vigilante groups. And if the police can't stop it because of the fact that there have been several attempts by the police to stop these groups from operating, and yet we find them within our political system.
Well, right. It's an interesting matter. You are dealing with law and politics, and you walk on some slippery ice. But let me attempt a distinction. First of all, the law is that when a person is sent to court on trial, his conduct contributes in one way or the other to the exercise of discretion when it comes to bail. And then the offense in question is also another factor. At least we know that after the Martin Pegbu case, all offenses are bailable,
right,
so to speak. But the judge has a discretion and would have to consider so many other factors. It is also a fact that under Section 73 of the Court Act, certain offenses which are misdemeanor in nature, the court can even allow the state to engage the other parties in the matter. For instance, the complainant or the accused person, the lawyer could come in and they say, look, they want to do an out-of-court settlement just to promote peace in society and all that. So there is also a provision in our law in spite of you charging somebody with a criminal offense. Now, there is no excuse if a judge decides not to exercise his or her discretion in your favor. Right. You can't have an excuse to misbehave. Yes, it may be a bailable offense. You may have a legitimate expectation. Oh, my Lord, it wasn't the state that arrested me and brought me here. I was granted police inquiry bail. I went home. I was informed that today is my trial date. I came on my own, and I can assure my Lord that I would stand trial, etc., etc. But look, if my Lord says, yes, for some reasons, I want you to be in lawful custody for the police to do further investigation, you cannot. What you can do at a lower court, you go up and order. So the conduct by those individuals who rushed into the courtroom to express their displeasure against the court by saying that we are freeing the people, I mean, was totally wrong, very condemnable. It threatened our very peace and our democracy and the rule of law. And as a lawyer, I wouldn't hesitate in condemning that action. That is one side. Now, the politics of it. Right. I'm happy I'm here with colleague politicians. Look, expectation, when you win power, it's such that you need extra effort to manage expectation. It's not only the grassroots people, even to the very top. A big man, he's contributed in some way, would want to be an ambassador, would want to be a minister, would want a businessman, would want to be given the opportunity to work for the state. So it's all a matter of expectation.
Right.
It is the fallout that leads to some of these things. I think as a party, we feel that, look, the conduct of our brothers has affected our image, and the party takes responsibility.
You have not managed expectations well.
Oh, by and large, I would say that we've managed the expectation well. Why do I say so? If you look at the number of constituencies we have across the country, and some of these incidents, Is it happening everywhere?
It's all over.
No, it's not. Right.
Alex, it's all over.
Right.
I think we need to accept the fact that these seizures
Don't create the impression that, no, if you want us to have an honest discussion.
Every region has recorded one of these attacks.
Right.
So we can make a general conclusion.
Right. Where in Central Region did you hear? Tell me, give me an example of where in Central Region you had.
I can give you
quickly.
Give me an example. I am right. Yes.
You go ahead.
Good. I am saying that this is not widespread.
I see.
Yes, I say so. It is not widespread. That in itself should tell you that there is some level of management. But even if it is one, it must be condemned. But don't let us create the impression that most Ghanaians, like somebody put it, most Ghanaians feel insecure. I don't think that is the impression Ghanaians have. But even any little insecurity that anybody would feel as a result of a change of government, as a result of somebody's conduct, be thinking that it is his party which is in power, it must be condemned. And it is unacceptable. It doesn't matter the magnitude. But I must also let you know that as a party, leadership has taken steps to get party people to appreciate and understand that you cannot use lawlessness to express your displeasure. If you disagree or if you think something is wrong, follow due process. Okay? You cannot. And that will be at the expense of the party's image. So I condemn it. The party has condemned it. But I'm sure that as the government settles in, all these things will be a thing of the past. And I'm particularly happy that civil society and all stakeholders in this country have joined in the criticism that, look, let us all appreciate that when a party wins power, it is not one person's effort. It is not for you to think that because it is your party, you misbehave. It happened yesterday. Today it is happening. We must condemn it. So that after another 4 years, we will not hear any of these. Look, in 2012, we did not have a transitional act. But in 2016, we had it. There were still some issues with it. People expressed some sentiment that, they think that, certain people were booted out of office. But the Transition Act actually provided for certain public office holders whose appointment were affected by the president, and that as the president is going, you know that per the schedule, all of you fall into that category. Some of these appointees did not even read their own law, and then the president had the new president had taken office, and they were still in office. And the way it was communicated to them, some people even felt that, why would you boot somebody out? But it is the act which says do.
Okay.
So we would have the opportunity, even in Parliament, to amend further and look at a better approach in managing our transition. At the same time, I think there is a responsibility on us as political parties in educating our people and letting our people understand that when your party wins power, it does not amount to lawlessness on your part at the grassroots. But people have sacrificed. They have worked hard for the party. It is not for them to allow some of these hasty conduct to wash away the beauty of their own effort.
All right. Okay, I was trying to quickly check. Alex, on the 11th of January, NPP supporters attacked the Murray toll booth and took away over 8 houses in the central region. I was just trying to draw your attention, but I have now gotten this.
In context.
So the point is that in every region, we have recorded one of this kind of behavior. That's the point we're trying to make.
Right. Let me concede to you that we shift it from magnitude to the fact that the thing has happened. Okay. So it doesn't matter. So if it is one public toilet, and I want to be very honest on that. If we are saying that, look, the fact that something has happened, we condemn it and we say, look, it shouldn't have happened at all. I agree with you on that score.
Right.
But the point really I wanted to make was that there isn't a coordinated attack there isn't a coordinated
effort
to do things in each constituency and all that. And
Alex, I'm grateful.
The fact that it is not the case, at least it tells you that the party and the leadership of the party have engaged its supporters to the extent that, look, majority of the party grassroots appreciate the fact that they need not engage in lawlessness. And I think on that score, you would agree with me, right?
Yes.
That majority of the foot soldiers do not believe in lawlessness. The few...
Alex, your point is well.
Let
me guess, Honorable Tetechai in. Your point is well.
Bright.
I'll come back to you, Alex.
You see, for me, I believe that the leadership of the party contributed to what is happening, especially in the early days when Abroye and the group went out publicly seizing, stopping anybody they find using a Land Cruiser, creating a whole lot of mess within the system.
So that was in the beginning?
What did the leadership say? We had a whole party chairman coming to support what was ongoing, saying that they were protecting the public what? Property.
But now,
this emboldened this criminal element
to say that. Yeah. Then there was a stopping point where the leadership says, look, we're condemning this, and so you need to stop. You can't take the law into your own.
That is where they disregarded the statements made by the president. You quite remember when His Excellency came to Parliament.
Honorable, what is the discussion?
He made an emphatic statement as to this group of people stopping what they are doing. He, as a president, was not in support. Immediately after that statement, the following day, what happened? The same group, Abroye and his group, went round Kofi Adams. You remember?
So your point is that
it tells you that, look, they even had no respect for our president. It shows you the impunity with which.
So your point is that because of the inertia from the beginning, it gives these groups the chance
to misbehaving. Give them the power.
Now that the IGP has stepped in, you don't think that we can still stop them?
You know what is going to stop this? If you look at the video footage, from the time they stormed the National Security Coordinator's office, a group of people were there. When they went to the courts, I'm sure those who went there, the police have the footage. Those elements should all be arrested. It's not the only 8. There are still more. No, apart from the 13, the 8 that invaded the court. There were more than 8. And I believe the police service can do a better job by making sure that more arrests are made and these people are brought to book.
Okay.
We want to see results.
Wrap up on this for me, and then we'll move to Parliament.
Say the country is showing leadership in that direction.
Okay, wrap up.
I think that the idea that the MPP as a political party is trying to manage the expectations of their people, I find it as an afterthought, because the harm is already been done. So now if you now come out, the other time I was listening to my good friend Sami Wuku, he was in Upper West region, trying to calm, the youth down. This should have been done much earlier. Now we are grappling, with the spoils of what they have done. And now you come out and you tell us that, you are trying to manage them. So I think that, like Honorable Tetechai rightly said, the MPP party has a role that it can play effectively to curtail these disturbances in the country. And as I said earlier on, in this our country, vandalism and lawlessness of any sort has no place. And then people must get that. You may have a genuine reason, but you can never take the law into your own hands. And I believe that the MPP as a party should find a way of clipping the fingers of their people. Because if they don't do that, the insecurity continues and it threatens practically every Ghanaian. And we all stand in a strong position to it.
Just this Saturday, I was at a wedding.
I'm grateful for
and
that.
And the first announcement was that the Delta Force are not here. That was the first announcement.
All right. I think that was a joke, by the way. Okay.
No.
All right. Now let's go, Alex, let me take us to Parliament. I'll come back. Alex, please, I'll come back to you. Let's go to Parliament. The Speaker, Mr. Ayaga eventually apologized, and the Speaker made a ruling. Let's go to Parliament and come back to the studio.
I'll ask the Honorable Ayaga, who had written an unqualified apology to the House, to please read same at this juncture.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, pursuant to paragraph 141 of the report of your committee, I render an unqualified apology to this August Parliament. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me another opportunity.
Honorable Ayariga, I'll ask you to read your own letter dated 3rd April 2017. If you have not got a copy, I'll let the table office give same to you to read out.
Mr. Speaker, I recall that there were a series of communications, and so I am not clear which letter.
Honorable Ayariga, that is why I'm about to give it to you. Order.
I didn't have a copy, that was why. But let me read it so that honorable members who are listening will see if there's a difference between what I said and what is written. So it says, apology pursuant to the recommendations of the Special Ad Hoc Committee of Parliament. And it says, pursuant to paragraph 141 of the report of the Special Committee to investigate the bribery allegation and the decision of this Honourable House adopting the report, I hereby render an unqualified apology to this Honourable House of Parliament. Thank you.
Sub-part 2 of our standing orders, headed Contempt of Parliament or Breach of Privileges, captures this as well. Any act or omission which affronts the dignity of Parliament or which tends either directly or indirectly to bring the name of Parliament into dispute is contempt. In all the circumstances of this case, I have come to the conclusion that the Honourable Ayariga should be shown the quality of mercy on this occasion. May he go and sin no more. He is warned never to peddle such expensive rumors anymore in his affairs in this House. I must extend a warning to some 4 or 5 honourable members who deem it proper to make untoward noise, apparently in support of Honourable Ayariga, regarding the conduct for which the Honourable Ayariga has now apologized. I trust the Honourable First Deputy Speaker, the Honourable Muntaka, and the entire House will forgive and put this matter to rest. Thank you, honourable members.
The Speaker of Parliament there addressing the House after the apology. Honourable Tedecha, let me start with you. For me, what to look at is to, okay, let me go to Alex because he is with the House. What to look at is to find out if this committee's work has indeed cleaned up the perception of corruption made by some institutions, including an individual who was a member of that very House. Has it cleaned it up?
Well, I don't believe in issues of perception when it comes to attacking individual image. You have to have something of probative value and test it against the person's character. If you say somebody has taken bribe or somebody has stolen and the person is a public officer or a politician, it is important for you to have your evidence. It's a matter of fact and of law. You must have your evidence. Now, simply put, Mr. Honorable Ayariga had peddled falsehood, had rumored, didn't have any basis. We shouldn't have even gone to the secondary step of even having a committee. By the way, he himself had said, his own chief whip, his own leader, had told him something. And to me, immediately his leader came out to say, I deny, and that you are peddling falsehood. That should have been an end to the matter, but he persisted. We are aware that even the committee's report, later on, they had questions about it. But at the end of the day, his own party, his side, his leadership, agreed with the outcome of the report. His leadership, including senior members like Honorable Bagbe, felt that no, his conduct was unacceptable because you are dealing with people's image and people you've never met. You are making allegation against somebody whom you never met and whose image was as important as your own image. So at the end of the day, I was happy that on Friday he eventually came to terms with the effect of his own conduct vis-a-vis the outcome of the report. That look, he was alone in the boat, nobody was with him, and say, look, I apologize. And he apologized. No, Suhini was not with him. Everybody, the outcome of the committee's report was accepted by the House. The House adopted the report of the committee. The committee report, as moved, was seconded by his own side. And through a voice vote, the House adopted the report. So I am happy. He's also been honorable as an adult to say that, look, eventually I have realized that I erred. And in his own words, he took responsibility for the rumor that he put out. And to me, it ends the matter. Now, on the issue of perception, we have all manner of perceptions. People perceive politicians generally as corrupt. That is a general perception that people have. But at the same time, I believe that people put their trust in politicians to lead them. So that tells you that in spite of that so-called general perception, individuals do their own evaluation of political parties and political leaders who stand for elections, and they realize that, look, this man has integrity, let me vote for him. And I believe that many Ghanaians have confidence in Parliament, have confidence in the individuals who make up Parliament. And I think that that is why we are given that mandate. We are allowed to go into that chamber to make laws. What the public expects of us is to act in a manner acceptable within the public space. And I can say for a fact that many people in that chamber are so dedicated and are so willing to work for the interests of Ghana. And I'm sure Mr. Speaker communicated those views clearly to the people of Ghana, and also assured the people of Ghana that Parliament was not ready to even cover up. And that is how come even the hearings of the committee were held in public. Okay? But it's a very regrettable matter that I wish it never happened in the first place.
All right. Rauf, does it clear Parliament of the perception? He says he doesn't believe in perception.
Well, I think that I want to concur absolutely with an assertion that Honorable Markins made concerning the image of another person. Even the fact that we are Muslims is very, very critical in our faith. That if you want to say something that would tarnish the image of your brother, you have got to be very, very sure about that. You have to have witnesses. Now, if you come out and make an unfounded statement that tarnishes the image of your brother, I think that you are inexcusable. And on that account, I think that the conduct of Honorable Ayerga was quite disgraceful. It was unfortunate. In fact, I realized that he was very quick to want to kneel Honorable Ajako, but unfortunately he didn't gather his facts very well. By trying to kneel him, he has kneeled himself, and then he has attempted by his conduct to undermine the image of the public of the Parliament of our country. And then I think that it is unfortunate, and it is good that he has come to eat the humble pie, and he accepted that what he said was nothing but a downright falsity. In fact, it was a lie. And then I think that is good. But talking about the perception, people can choose to hold any kind of perception that they want to hold. You understand? So whether it clears Parliament of that perception, that is an individual, question. Some people would think that yes, at least the sanctity, the good image of Parliament has been restored again. But there are still some people in this country who would hold a view that no, it doesn't clear, Parliament. And I have seen some WhatsApp, chats, in fact, of some even members of Parliament making some statements, and you feel that, they still feel that something is amiss. And then I want at the personal level, I believe that Parliament has also got to engage in activities and conduct that would help us, have confidence. Because what happened, clearly, whether you like it or not, it has affected the good image of Parliament. Because, for parliamentarians, you saw for the first time what happened in our Parliament, where people were even trying to assault themselves physically. I heard some people say that, they had gone too far and then what have you. Well, I think that in democracy sometimes people, when words do not settle the issues, they attempt to use their fists, which is in any case condemnable. So I believe that what Honorable Ayariga did by coming out to apologize and to accept that he had lied, about the personalities that he mentioned is okay, is good, and we have to accept that apology. And Parliament, as I said, must take the steps to purge, people of the kind of mentality and perception that they hold about like the Honorable said. Look, that is the law-making body of our country, and then there are men and women of integrity in that house. Even though there would be instances where some people would have conduct which is not desirable, but on top of that, I can state that there are good men and women in there. And we cannot allow the conduct of some few people to taint the image of the overall house. So I think that what has happened
is good for the house. I'm grateful for time. Honorable Teteshai, so this should put an end to it, and Parliament can move on with your business.
Yeah, per the issue at stake, for me, we've come to finality, and no matter how palatable or unpalatable you see it, that is the verdict. And for me, I'm happy that Honorable Ayariga has done the gentleman thing by apologizing the right way. But if that has been done previously, it wouldn't have even traveled that far. But that notwithstanding, for me, perceptions are also very important in any human endeavor. And therefore, we have institutions that measure how corrupt a country is, how corrupt we are in our various institutions, and so on and so forth. And these things are used to see how good we are in terms of our governance as a country. So for me, perception, yes, in terms of statistics and so on and so forth, are used in measuring how people feel about what is ongoing. But if you look at these three governance institutions that we have, that is the executive, the legislature, and then the judiciary, they form a very significant pillars in our democratic governance. And as such, we need to do everything possible to protect the integrity of these institutions. You can see the judiciary. They've had their bad times, but it was good for good governance of this country, in the sense that it has helped the institution to reform and to make it better. I prefer a case where the institution itself will do the reforms than allowing somebody from outside to, make you do the reforms. So for me, we need to go a step further as Parliament. We need to go a step further. Look at the various systems that we have in terms of our committee systems. What are some of the challenges that these committees face in terms of resource allocation? Because most of the work that we do in Parliament is about oversight. And some of these oversight needs resources. Yes, on yearly basis, Parliament is, or the various committees are allocated resources to do their work. The question is, are those resources released on time for the committees to do their work? Because if an institution really wants a committee to act, and the committee is not coming forth, the institution will be forced to support the committee. And it also affects the work of the committee. So for me, it is not about Parliament only clearing its image in terms of this bribery allegation, but then Parliament should move a step further to look at some of the structures that are not helping the committee system. And if these things are looked at, then I can confidently say that Parliament is positioning itself to the extent that the Ghanaian public will have that confidence in the entire Parliament.
I'm grateful. I've run out of time, but quickly on this one, if one minister is suggesting that Parliament should be made to appoint the special prosecutor, that's the heritage story. Alex, briefly, I ran out of time. Wrapping up.
It's a matter of law.
Okay.
Whatever appointment must be anchored on
a law.
Article 88.
So if the law agrees, that's how we should go.
If the law says so.
But do we have a law for the special prosecutor now?
We don't.
So we will need to.
But some people have argued that it may be unconstitutional.
Okay.
But I keep on reminding such individuals that we acted Act 804. That's the Yoko Act.
Right.
And then we gave them investigative and prosecutorial powers based on 88, 1, 3, and 4. We looked at the whole of 88. That it is the Attorney General who has that mandate. But the Attorney General can delegate. And it is on the basis of that delegation that we enacted 804, which is the Yoko Act, with the power to investigate and prosecute. So if we are doing something on a similar line to ensure, back again to the same perception matter, you want situations where there is an independent body to prosecute corruption-related offenses, said that it won't be seen as a political
witch hunting. Okay.
So it should come up for discussion in Parliament.
Okay.
And if it means I will give Parliament the power to eventually appoint that person, it's a matter of law.
I'm grateful. Unfortunately, I won't be able to allow you to get it. I ran out of time. Alexander Afinyo-Mark is Member of Parliament for the Futu constituency, a member of the NDC. Kadri Abdul Rauf Isifu is the Director of Communication. NPP, pardon me.
Right.
Pardon me, Alex.
Right.
Alex, it's a slip. Pardon me.
No, you didn't say what makes it a slip. Why would you?
I know you're a member of the NPP.
No.
And Kadri Isifu is the Director of Communications of the NPP.
After you've dealt with me on Delta Force.
But in these days, people are not even proud to be members of the
Ablekuba Central Constituency. A member of the NDC. Alex is a member of the NPP.
And I'm proud to be a member of the NDC.
All right. I'm grateful, gentlemen,
for your
thank you. Thanks so much for joining us.